Hello everyone, it is I, Giuseppe Krakowski, and this is Traumatized Teens. We have with us 3 contestants tonight, KelseyAnimated, Heiphyn, and Nice Guy McFly.
Actually, I'm not a teenager. I'm 20 years old. I'm an adult.
But you look like little twink, perhaps 14 years of age. Let us get straight down to business with their experience with very bad story called One in Chamber.
Well, hello. It looks like, after trying to record this like 4 separate times, because I can't tell if I'm the idiot or if my computer is the idiot, we're finally here. One in the Chamber. Part 3. The finale that you've all been waiting for. That you will no doubt, some of you get mad at because your hype was frickin' stupid levels of high for a dumb YouTube video. Hi, by the way, my voice might sound a little bit different. That's because this is a different microphone. This is future Brennan talking to you here, as this video was recorded like 2 years ago now. Man, I'm not slow at all or anything, am I? Anyway, I do need to let you know that the visuals of this one were not made by Kelsey. They were made by my talented editor, Ecto, who is an equally talented artist. However, Kelsey is in this one, along with Heiphyn and me. We actually read One in the Chamber Part 3 together in like a 2-hour long call, like 2 hours and 30 minutes. And I had to edit that down, and we only got like 20 minutes. That's as short as I should make it, and Kelsey wasn't able to make it because she's a full-time YouTuber now, and she's got to focus on actually, paying bills and stuff, and also she had a stroke. The production of this thing has been a nightmare. I hope you do understand, but you're gonna hear me abruptly cut off soon, and then you're just gonna hear me say Japanese rope bondage and squeal like a frickin' pig. So just get ready for it. Are you ready? Take it away, past Brennan. It's time to start the finale. We've even got a new tag, Japanese rope bondage. Whee! This is the absolute darkest and most serious that the fanfiction has got, folks. Buckle up. This is gonna be a wild ride. Without further ado, let's finish what we started. 2D and the gang are busy making music. Things aren't like where we last left off. The group has been focused more on music, and that means that 2D and Noodle haven't had as much time together. Things had slowed down a bit over the past few days. Well, not slowed down, stopped completely. She realized it had been statutory rape, and recently called the FBI to come to her home. We've been going at it for 2 weeks straight with no breaks. Jesus Christ. How many hours is that without getting up? And then
Noodle stopped sneaking over to my room at night. I was starting to get worried. On one occasion, I tried asking her if everything was okay, but she didn't say nothing, just looked at me real scary-like and left the room.
It wouldn't be so bad if she would just tell me what the HE double hockey sticks... This is a Christian channel. I'm sorry, it's just truth be told, I'm a little pent up sexually. We could tell you statutorily raped a 14-year-old girl.
Oh my god.
It's hard going from 2 weeks of the most explosive sex you've ever had to deal with. Jesus Christ.
They just blow up.
My balls were the size of kiwis. 2D decided to take a break from working to grab a soda. He fished out a Diet Fresca like the elderly white woman he is. Alright, Agrius, I gotta give you credit, that line is pretty good. He felt empty, missed the sex. Who wouldn't? Snails, I suppose. Oh, they reproduce asexually. I just imagine a snail standing in the mirror like, hey, good looking. You come here often? I'm gonna make love to you all night long. And then he just starts making out with the noises like, oh, please do call me daddy. Oh. Suddenly, the overhead lights turn off. When 2D turned the lights back on, there was Noodle, splayed out on the top of the doorframe like some sort of spider. 2D slightly wet himself. Just a little bit of pee. Just not a lot, but a little bit of pee came out. 3 days. That's how long I was able to go without seeing you. You want to know a secret? She leaned in further, now hanging off the wall with what appeared to be superhuman strength.
Tonight, I am going to F you so hard and for so long that you may die of dehydration.
And boner. That's like such a sentence fragment. Just... And boner. Gotta go back to the racial black noodle. Finish your drink and wait 5 minutes for your balloon to deflate. Then come out.
Balloon to deflate. Imagine it being like an animal balloon and she just like ties it into like a dinosaur or something.
Noodle opened the door, checked to make sure the coast was clear, then slipped part of the way out. She hesitated, looking back at me. Bring a belt? Then she left, closing the door behind her. 2D managed to contain himself until 11:59, but when he opened the door, Noodle's eyes were red and raw. Her cheeks looked scrubbed. She'd been crying. Noodle pulled out some cigarettes and started to smoke. It turned out Noodle had become pregnant. In her eyes, a cascade of emotions: sadness, anger, fear. When next she spoke, it was in a voice so cracked, so hoarse, that it could barely be registered over the hum of the air conditioning. I don't want anything from you, she said. I don't need to do anything. It's my fault, not yours. I will take care of it. That was my best, really cracked and hoarse voice of a very stereotypical Japanese accent. Nudes, what are you? And then it hit me. Oh God. My shorted power outlets formed two shocked O's, dilating as far as they could go. Are you sure, Noodle? She nodded solemnly. I took the test an hour ago. In the bathroom, if you want to see. Man, this is the most jolly the story's ever gotten, huh? It's not like we're dealing with a 14-year-old girl impregnated by a man way older than her. Jesus, I could use some Jesus right now. I tell you what, my man JC, please come visit me. The beautiful thing Noodle and I had shared was suddenly this horrific abomination, an unforgivable transgression I perpetrated against her, for which she'd now be expected to bear the consequences. Beautiful! Oh yeah, it's beautiful. You just had an adult have sex with an underage girl. There's nothing remotely beautiful about that at all. That's statutory rape. Noodle took a long drag off of her cigarette. She didn't look at me. Who could blame her? I texted Charles, she said, referring to our label manager. I'll talk to him tomorrow. He'll set everything up. We're just gonna ignore the fact that Noodle is smoking while pregnant. It's the making of a great mother right there. She's a real good mom. Gathering her up in my arms, with a preternatural strength that surprised me, I effortlessly moved us up the bed and underneath the covers. We coiled around each other, not in sex for once. It's still creepy though. But in a wounded embrace that at once felt magnanimous and maternal. I said that completely wrong. In my dream that night, I was back at my old work in Uncle Norm's Organ Emporium. Way out in Crawley. It was 1992. Suddenly, there came the obnoxious chime of the front door.
Looking up over a sea of lacquered piano tops, I saw that it was a girl. And not just any girl either. An Asian girl. Raven hair, slanted eyes, frumpy tweed school uniform.
Just
that
like
whole
an
bit.
anime girl from
Okay.
one of my mangas.
Not the school girl. Oh wait, that's my character.
Wait a minute.
Whoops.
We're attacking
Sorry,
you.
Heiphyn.
Her knee-socked legs emerging out from her pleated skirt like two slender chopsticks. Is that racist? That's probably
A little bit
racist.
Not the good, like, funny parts. I have to read all the traumatizing crap.
True. I'm sorry. You have endured so much.
The girl started to play a beautiful tune on the piano. Lemuel Dupé's, what it was called. Don't ask me how I knew it. I ain't so sure myself. Apparently, 2D has turned into them good old Southern boy. That's what it's called. I ain't so sure. Yeehaw, partner. She finished the beautiful melody and looked up at me as if looking for approval. That was beautiful. She mumbled something appreciative sounding and started to head to the back of the store. Turning over her shoulder, she motioned for me to follow her. The store was a ghost town at this hour, so I hopped the counter and slipped off my worker's apron. I asked her if she spoke English when I arrived in the back of the store. She just shook her head, indicating that she didn't. Next thing I knew, she grabbed my shirt and pulled me down into a kiss.
All right, I just love how in fan fictions where they're like, oh, he stuck his tongue into her mouth asking for entrance.
Yeah,
And
why
I'm
do
like,
they
what the
describe it
heck?
that way?
The only time anyone asks for anything in the story.
That's true. I have asked for consent this time. You may
True.
kiss me.
My tongue did. My tongue asked
for
for
consent.
consent.
Her legs hooked around my waist. The itchy tweed fabric of her pleated skirt was infuriating me. I wanted to tear it off her to expose the silky yellow skin underneath in all its radiant glory. Just...
Not racist. I think
a
that's
little bit
racist.
racist, yeah. Oh, just a little bit. Calling her yellow. We broke for air after what felt like an eternity, resting our foreheads together, panting like dogs trapped in a hot car, which we also died directly afterward, because it's usually what happens to the dogs trapped in a hot car.
Like, why?
I'm
That's a
sorry.
horrible metaphor.
Gosh dang it, I muttered between labored breaths. Will you please marry me? We gotta stick with the fact that he turned into a southerner earlier. I awoke with a start. Sitting up, eyes wide and feral, I scanned a foreign room covered in rainbow taffeta and Harajuku plushies. Noodle's face scrunched up. She stirred, cracking one sleepy eye through the part in her bangs, studying me. What wrong? I shook my head, sighing. Nothing. Just your alarm. It went off. Nudes? What's your name? I asked suddenly. Your real name? Noodle's eyes widened. She seemed to think for a moment, as if having to recall it from her distant past. Noriko.
Oh my What's she going on about? Shut up, it's fan cannon.
And you? Stop. I smiled. Stop, Pop. The next day, Noodle and 2D were at Charles' office to figure out how to fix this situation. Noodle was talked to first. It felt like she was in there for an eternity. 2D frequently made trips to the bathroom to nervously wash his hands and face while he waited for his turn to talk. Eventually, Noodle came out, and she signaled to 2D to go inside as she took a seat.
Stuart,
He growled.
what the flippity flip, dude?
You guys like my Charles voice? I heard
It's
50,
10 out
so-
of 10. No, 12. 12 out of 10.
Are you going to kill me? Charles pulled out a gun and shot me right in the face. Charles crushed the palms of his hands against his eyes, sighing.
Tempting. But that'd just make more of a mess for me to clean up, now wouldn't it?
I feel like I'm turning...
Are you trying?
Yeah, that's what
like
I was gonna say. I feel like
Nixon
I'm turning him
impression.
into Richard Nixon. The truth to a Nixon impression is
You just gotta seek your face around like this. I didn't know anything about Watergate. I promised you that. Do you foresee needing separate accommodations for housing?
My spooky Indian burial covers opened wide. No, why? Charles shrugged.
Thought it might be awkward being down the hall from your baby mama. Are you and Noodle still on pretty good terms?
Yes, I croaked.
2D, listen to me. Noodle and I have come up with a resolution for this. So here's what we're gonna do.
The plan was rather simple. Show up to a clinic early in the morning under the cover of darkness and get rid of the child. The morning came, and me and Noodle rode together to the destination. However, when the time came to choose, Noodle couldn't do it. She ran out of the operating room into 2D's arms, apologizing that she couldn't go through with it. I sat on the kidney-colored bench with her on my lap, holding her like a china doll. Charles had been called, the doctor was paid off, and the car was getting ready to pull up.
What's it like the doll imagery?
She's a brand new really hot real doll, Heiphyn. Noodle sighed gently against my chest. What we gonna do? Dunno. I kissed the top of her head again as the car's headlights appeared in the parking lot. We'll sort it all out though. You and me, I promise. Plan B was to create an elaborate network of lies, send Noodle to Japan and replace her with Cyborg Noodle until she returned. Excuse me, if I could get my Canon Gorillas fan glasses on for a second here. Do I need to remind anyone that this is during Phase 2, before Cyborg Noodle was even created, thus making the timeline not make any sense? 2D sat there, putting his mouth up to the dong of his bong.
Dong of my bong.
I've never heard it described that way. There came a knock on the door, and well, we all know who it is at this point. Noodle walked in, probably wondering if I was still alive. She looked at me and asked, "How old is that bong?" "Well, just use it." She asked for the bong, and I gave it to her. Her fingernails were painted the color of Mother Teresa's lightsaber. What?
So
That's my favorite character in the Star Wars movie. Mother Teresa.
She took a long hit off the bong, the bubbling sound filling my eardrums.
Oh, this poor child.
Oh no.
Here's your meth baby.
2D began to cry. Realizing the extremeness of the situation, Noodle stopped hitting the bong to comfort him, decided he needed rest. She helped take him to her room. When at last 2D was nestled neatly in the bed like a child in its crib, Noodle undid the belt on her kimono.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God Almighty, Jesus Christ in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, exposing her pale skin to the night air. I forgot the rest of the Lord's Prayer, someone help.
Suddenly, another knock came at the door. Startled, we both looked toward the door. Noodle seemed to know who it was. In my high state of mind, completely baked, I felt like I couldn't move. Noodle got up and put her kimono back on, and then proceeded to walk to the edge of the room. I didn't get time to protest, because then the door burst open. They yanked me out of the bed and pinned me to the ground, cuffing me. A figure walked through the door, walking with confidence. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw who it was.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
This was it. This was the end. I wasn't getting out of this one. And so it ends. The show's over. Hi, it's me, Future Brennan again. So originally, I did have this big thing recorded for the end of this, but it didn't really fit considering the way that things have gone with the production of everything. But that is it. That is the end of One in the Chamber Part 3. There is no more of it. And I also need to say that that is also the end of Nice Guy McFly. I am going to be going to a new channel. I am going to be starting fresh with stuff that I want to do, and it's going to be purely focused on that, because I want to be a voice actor, and while there may not be a ton of videos on the channel, and in fact, at the time of recording, that channel doesn't even exist yet, but don't worry, it will soon. There's a link in the description for it. By now, hopefully. If not, I was real freaking lazy. But I do hope you guys enjoyed the finale. I am sorry that I'm going, but I will be perfectly blunt and honest here. I am so sick of this freaking video franchise. I'm so done with it. I'm glad it's over. I had a fun time with it for a while, but then my friend had a stroke, and then people understood that, but then when the video still wasn't made after a certain amount of time, everybody freaked out. I got badgered constantly. It seems like it's the only thing people watch on my channel. I do have other videos. They exist, but that doesn't matter, because I'm going to go, and I'm going to do my own thing now. And I didn't want to leave everything on a sour note. And that's why I was seriously hoping that this project had some sort of savior, since Kelsey wasn't able to make it. And my editor, Ecto, as you know, came in, practically saved the whole project. So if you want to thank someone for this, thank Ecto. Thank Ecto a lot, because Ecto deserves the thanks. He's also my only mod on my Discord. That Discord will stay open, by the way. I may change the name. I may keep it the same. I don't know. I may just not do anything with it at all and just keep freaking using it. But I do hope you guys enjoyed. I am glad that the project is finally finished. Hopefully, I won't be so burnout on Gorillas after some time has passed, because this project has really killed a lot of my enthusiasm for it. But again, this isn't really the end for me per se. I'm just moving on to a different channel, doing something different. And I want to preface this: we are not doing any fan fictions. I am never doing that again. But with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed your time watching any of my videos, whether you watched only One in the Chamber and that's the only thing you cared about and you were just a Gorillaz fan wanting to see Gorillaz content, or whether you watched any of my other videos and you liked them. I hope you enjoyed your stay at Nice Guy McFly. And shortly after this, if you're still wanting more of my content, you can go to that new channel, and the focus may not be what this channel's was, which it never had a focus to begin with, so I'm not even sure if that's accurate, but the other channel is purely going to be focused on my voice acting. But this video is way too long as it is, And I don't want to draw it out anymore. And I don't know what to say that would be freaking cool as I leave and send off and we have a picture of me walking off into the distance as my cape flows in the wind or something dramatic like that. I'm just going to keep it simple. Keep on keeping on. Hope you guys enjoyed your stay. And that is the finale for One in the Chamber Part 3 and the Nice Guy McFly channel.
I hope life treats you well after you see this. And if it doesn't, well, just keep getting back up. Climb whatever mountains are in your way. And when you get to the end of your journey, it'll be worth it.